One link from a respected site can outweigh 100 junk directory votes. Every link is a vote. So why does one beat 100? Links pointing to your site are one of Google's strongest ranking signals. Get them wrong and your pages stall on page 5, invisible. Here's the trap most people miss. Chasing the wrong links wastes months. And buying links can actively bury a site instead of lifting it. 2 ways to lose, 1 way to win. Start with the what. A backlink is simply another website linking to yours. That's it, a clickable path from their page to yours. Now here's the part that matters. Google doesn't just count those links. It reads each one as a recommendation. One site vouching for another. Think of it as a vote of trust. When a cooking blog links to your recipe, that blog is telling Google, this page is worth pointing my readers to. Google gathers all those votes across the entire web. It uses them to decide which pages are trustworthy enough to rank near the top. So a page nobody links to looks like a stranger with no references. A page dozens of respected sites point to looks like someone the whole neighborhood vouches for. But if every link is a vote, you'd expect more votes to always win. 100 should crush 1. That's exactly where the whole thing gets interesting, because it doesn't work that way. Here's why 1 beats 100. Google weighs who is voting, not just how many. A link from a major news outlet or an established industry authority carries real weight. That site has earned trust over years. Its recommendation is worth a lot. Now picture the other side. 100 listings on auto-generated directory sites, the kind that link to anyone for a few dollars or for free. Google has seen millions of these. It recognizes the pattern of a low-trust, spammy source, and it discounts those votes almost to 0. So the math isn't 1 versus 100. It's 1 heavy, trusted vote against 100 hollow ones that barely register. Picture a job reference. 1 glowing letter from a respected surgeon outweighs 100 from strangers who'll vouch for anybody. The count looks lopsided. The trust isn't. And that raises the next question. If Google is judging the quality of the site sending the link, is every link even allowed to pass that trust along? Because some of them are quietly told not to. There are actually 2 kinds of links. The difference is invisible to you but loud to Google. A normal link passes ranking credit. It's the vote we've been talking about. It's called a DOFOLLOW link. But a link can carry a hidden tag that tells Google, don't pass any trust through this one. That's a NOFOLLOW link. It still works as a clickable path for humans. It just doesn't hand over a vote. Where do you find NOFOLLOW links? In blog comments so people can't spam their way to the top. On most paid or sponsored placements. And on a lot of social media links. Here's why this trips people up. Someone drops their link in 100 comment sections and a dozen paid spots, then wonders why their ranking hasn't moved an inch. It hasn't moved because those votes were switched off before they ever counted. So it's not just where a link comes from. It's whether that link is even allowed to pass trust. Which sets up the dangerous part, the links that don't just fail to help but actively hurt. Now the part that can sink a site. Some people skip earning links and just buy them in bulk. Paid schemes, link farms, networks that sell 1,000 backlinks for cheap. This breaks Google's guidelines directly. And Google fights back in 2 ways. Sometimes a human reviewer flags the site and hands down what's called a manual penalty. Other times the algorithm itself spots the pattern and quietly demotes the pages. Either way, the result is brutal. Instead of climbing, the site loses rankings, gets buried pages deep, or in bad cases disappears from results entirely. So why does buying links backfire so reliably? Because natural links grow in a messy, organic pattern. A few here, more over time, from all sorts of unrelated places. Bought links show up in a suspicious spike. 1,000 new links overnight from the same low-quality neighborhood, all pointing the same way. That footprint is exactly what Google's systems are built to catch. The shortcut isn't a growth hack. It's a liability sitting on a timer. But that leaves an honest worry. If links can hurt you, should you avoid them completely? So should you swear off backlinks entirely? No, and that's the wrong lesson. Earned links from relevant, trustworthy sites are the whole goal. They're the strongest, safest fuel you can get. The danger was never links themselves. It was manipulative schemes and low-quality volume. Let's clear up the gray zone. A listing in a genuine, reputable directory people actually use. Fine. A legitimate sponsored post that's properly tagged so Google knows it's paid. Also fine. You're being honest, not sneaky. What Google punishes is deception. Pretending a bot vote is an earned one. Here's a simple test you can run on any link. Ask 1 question. Would this link exist if Google didn't? If a real site linked to you because your page genuinely helped their readers, that's a real recommendation. It passes. If the only reason the link exists is to game rankings, Google is built to see straight through it. Real recommendation, good. Ranking trick, dangerous. That 1 question sorts almost everything. Now the whole mechanism clicks. Rankings follow trust. Google reads links as votes, but it weighs each vote by how trustworthy the site casting it is. That's why a few earned links from respected sites beat mass low-quality volume every time. And why chasing junk or buying links doesn't just fail. It risks a penalty that buries you. So the move isn't collecting the most links. It's collecting the right ones. Audit your links for quality and type. Whose linking do they pass trust, and would that link exist without Google in the picture? One glowing letter from someone the whole industry respects will always outrank 100 signatures from strangers who sign for anyone. One trusted vote is worth more than 100 hollow ones. That's the entire game. Want to know which camp your own site's links fall into? Trusted votes or hidden liabilities? You can get a free review of your site's backlink health at reviewmysitenow.com. It'll show you what Google sees before Google decides. Go find out where you stand.